I'm Lisa Natoli. Welcome. This is day 4, and the topic for today is time for God. So I've been talking about this one for a couple of days. I've been mentioning it briefly, and today I want to talk about it in detail. And this is the one that seems to stick the most after the 40-day program ends, and it's the one that has created the most change in my life. So it's the third commitment on the commitment letter. I commit to 30 minutes per day minimum of focused quiet time with no distractions. And this is time for God, is what it is. And if you have any resistance to the idea of God or the word God, I ask you to just put it on the back burner for now. Because this is about a direct experience, and any idea that you have about God can only be from the past. And I just want to talk about resistance a little bit. The mind is resistant to change. If you've ever tried an exercise program, if you haven't been exercising, the mind comes up with excuses for that. It doesn't like it. It just says, I don't have time, and it doesn't want you to change. And that's the ego mind. And the ego mind knows right now that you're up to something. And it knows its days are numbered. And it will come from every direction to get you to not do this, to not change. And because we only have 40 days together, I wanted to really give you as much as possible in this small amount of time. And you might be thinking, there's too much in this program. I just feel this is overwhelm. And if you think about the sheer amount of information that you've learned over the years and how diligently you learned it, and now what we're doing is we're undoing that whole thought system. And so I didn't just want to give you a positive affirmation and say, have a good day. I want to give you tools that actually work. And so it might feel like there's a lot of information here, and I've tried to keep it as simple as possible. And if you really look at it, it actually is simple. You know, I've asked you to write a commitment letter and make a commitment. I've asked you to write 2 declaration cards, your false way of being and your true way of being. I've asked you to take these 40 days and fast from everything that's on your false card, all of those behaviors that are keeping you in a place of darkness, and to pray, which means to live what's on your true card. I am spirit, I am light, I am happiness, I am joy. And this is a purification. So you're not actually doing anything, and it's being done, and you're cooperating with the undoing. So I just want to start with just devoting time for God. And if you say, I don't have time, it's not ever going to come. You have to make time. You make it a number one priority. And what it is, it's like I was describing, these thought systems, these circles. You're making a commitment. This is what this is, to get over here in this thought system of love. And that's all that is. And I just want to give you a brief example, an illustration of how you can see how simple this is. So you wake up in the morning. Everyone wakes up in the morning, and you're in a bed, and immediately the mind is active. Before you even take the covers off, before your feet even hit the floor, the mind is already sequencing time. It's going to the past, it's going to the future, it's thinking about what day it is, it's saying I'm late, I gotta get up. It's already usually in a chaotic place, and it's not ever in the moment. So what I want you to do as a morning practice from now on is to really discipline yourself to stay in bed for a few extra minutes. So just stay in bed, and I want you to think about those thoughts as energy field. Every time you think about the past, every time you think about the future, I want you to just think of them as energy fields that are flying and sequencing time. It's keeping you stuck, actually. And because you're stepping into mastery now, those few minutes are a chance to bring all the energy fields back to the center. Just be in the present moment. I'm in my bed. And then immediately remember God, remember love, remember who you are. And just take that moment. And this is what I do. I just have this one, it literally takes a second. And usually when I wake up in the morning, I'm completely disoriented. I'm a very sound sleeper. I feel I travel. I have very detailed dreams. And when I come back, it feels like sort of a jolt back into the body. So usually when I wake up, there's this period of disorientation. I usually look over to the clock to see what time it is. And then what I do is I remember, oh yes, I'm here for God. This day is God's. I'm here as light and spirit and love. And this day is going to be a day of great surprises. And I'm just going to be available for it. I'm going to be awake to it. I'm going to be listening. And thank you, God. And then I pull the covers off. And then the feet hit the floor. And so it's an acknowledgement of a presence and a power that's with you before you even get out of bed. And that is a great way to start the day. And what I want to do today is I want to read a little bit from A Course in Miracles. And it says that time devoted to starting the day right does indeed save time. So one of the things that you're going to find out when you acknowledge first thing in the morning that God is with you and you're making that connection is that the day's easier. It just is. And what you're going to find is that this power and this presence, it's not outside of you, but it's your whole mind. It's your Christ mind. And you start acknowledging it, and it literally will go out in front of you, out into the day, and remove all obstacles. It will open doors for you that you need to walk through. It will close doors for you that you don't need to walk through. And what most people do is they try to push through closed doors. And what I want you to start to notice is when something's not working, that's a closed door. And the other thing that happens is things start to come to you. So you're in the flow now, you're not resisting. So suddenly everything that you need just comes to you easily. You don't have to effort anymore. You have a guide and your guide is bringing these things to you. So this is an added benefit of this. And of course, the biggest benefit is the peace that you will begin to feel when you're joined with God, when you're joined with love. And so seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. That's a great instruction. Seek first that state of mind. And what A Course in Miracles says is seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, because that is where the laws of God operate truly. So it's in this circle of love that I'm always talking about. The laws of God do not operate over in your thought system of fear. They don't happen when you're complaining and in doubt. You need to get over here in this state of mind. And this is where the laws of God are operating truly. Miracles happen naturally. And one of the things is that you actually will see your physical condition begin to change. So sickness is isolation. And what does that mean? It means you've been operating in a belief system that you're alone. So spending time with God heals the sense of isolation, and that heals the cause of your sickness, and the sickness disappears. And this is, again, a direct experience. You can't think about this. This isn't something that you can intellectualize. You must really get into that place of knowing God is with me. I'm not alone anymore. This is your time with God, and now the isolation has been healed. And then what happens is once you've made this connection with God, you recognize your oneness with everyone and everything. So there's this great sentence also from A Course in Miracles, is that heaven is not a place or a condition. It is merely an awareness of perfect oneness and the knowledge that there is nothing else, nothing outside this oneness and nothing else within. So what I've done is I put some of the things from this section from the Manual for Teachers, which talks about how should a teacher of God spend his day. And a teacher of God is anyone who chooses to be one, and he has somewhere made a deliberate decision that someone else's interests are not apart from his own, and everyone has done that. And what it says is the moment you do that, when you see that your brother is you, and you feel that compassion and you feel that love and you want to help, it says that you've already entered into an agreement with God, even if you don't believe in him. And then it says a light has entered into the darkness the second you did that. And I don't know a single person who's never done that. So everyone is in an agreement with God, even if they don't believe in him. And that's when the light enters into the darkness. It literally penetrates into your dark thought system. And that's when the search begins. That's when you go seeking for something that's going to complete you. You have that memory of something's missing here. There's something going on, and I'm determined to find it. And so there's this section in the Manual for Teachers called How Should You Spend Your Day? And it says in the beginning, when you're just starting, structure is important. And it says that duration is not the major concern. And I really wanted to talk about that because this isn't about meditation. You don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to. And you're not doing anything. This isn't about accomplishing anything. Sometimes people, when they meditate, they think they're trying to go somewhere. This is just time with God. Think about it as time with a friend. You're hanging out with a friend who you just love and who loves you back. And you're reaching to God. You're just reaching to that place and you're resting there. So for me, it's a time of celebration and listening and resting and relaxing and rejuvenating. And if you look at Jesus in the Bible, he went away all the time to be with God. He went to pray. And he didn't go to ask things. He went to make that connection. And it was always for quiet time. That's important. No distractions. So what you're doing now is, it says here, is one can sit still for an hour with closed eyes and accomplish nothing. And you know that if you've ever tried to meditate. It's like nothing's going on there. One can as easily give God only an instant, and in that instant join with him. It's just like a light switch. You plug it in and boom, it's on. It takes an instant. And boom, you're on. Perhaps the one generalization that can be made is this: as soon as possible after waking, take your quiet time, continuing a minute or two after you begin to find it difficult. That's important too. So get to that place of resistance, listen to the excuses in your head. I gotta go, this isn't working. And then stay one more minute or two after the resistance comes. You may find that the difficulty will diminish and drop away. If not, that is the time to stop. And then it says the same procedure follows at night. Perhaps your quiet time should be fairly early in the evening if it is not feasible for you to take it just before going to sleep. It is not wise to lie down for it. It is better to sit up in whatever position you prefer. And then it says, just before going to sleep is a desirable time to devote to God. So this is the practice that I'm introducing. We're devoting time to God. We're making time to God. We're devoting the day to God. And it won't just happen. You have to make it a priority. And if you've ever flown and you have a very early flight to catch, 6 o'clock in the morning, you have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You don't make excuses. You just get up. You set the alarm and you get up and you're up. You don't sleep until 3:20 and say, I don't have time. It's a priority. You've got a flight to catch. You have to get to the airport. And it's the same with this. You're saying, okay, this is a priority for me. And I only have 40 days. And I want to see results. And I'm going to dedicate this time. And it's important that you don't try to feel like you're doing anything. I cannot emphasize that enough. It's a time of just being with your Father. And God is your Father and loves you very much. And God's voice is heard in the silence. And his voice is silent. And so you need to be silent. And I know already the resistance that starts to come up with this practice. And again, that's just the ego mind. It does not want you to change. It knows what you're up to. And I just really ask you to just stay in mastery. Just say, no, this is what I am doing. I want to have this direct experience with God. I want to know this love. I want to be transformed. And if this is what it takes, then this is what I'm doing. And then during the day, just keep remembering a thought of pure joy, of pure peace. And just really keep your mind shifting back over to your true identity. And you will see things just start falling away. You realize, wow, really am all light. I really am in an experience of oneness with all, and you can't even remember your grievances. And there's a quickening that's happening right now. It's like happening on a cellular level. And whatever you feel, just let it be what it is. If you start to feel more tired, you need more rest, just give yourself that. If you start to feel anger coming up, let it come up. Just let it come up. We're looking at it and we're allowing the light to dissolve it and let it be released. So I thank you for really being here and making a commitment to this. And Time for God will absolutely change your life. I love you. I honor you. And have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow.